5 years with no money down. Plus, holiday cash equal to your first 3 months' payments. Ashley Home Store.
TVFCU, a place for all of us.
I love a good book. I bet you do too, and yet somehow in my life I seem to kind of ebb and flow between periods of reading and not, and I'll finish a good book and say, I don't ever want to quit reading again. I'm always looking for another great one to pick up. So I'm in luck this morning. I hope you feel the same way, because Linda Levan happens to be here. She is with the So Lit Alliance, getting us ready for something called Club Lit on November 17th, and this author, New York Times best-selling author Kevin Wilson, is going to be the guest that night along with the rest of us.
Yes, so he has a brand new book that comes out today, in fact, and we are just really excited to have him come. We'll be among the first of his book tour to share with us his new books as well as talk about his own work.
I'm a big fan of Southern literature. There's just something melodic about the way so many Southern writers write. It's just beautiful to me. Clearly, he is a standout. You said one of his books was a Jenna Hager book club.
Yes, the last one, Nothing to See Here, was a Jenna Hager book club pick as well as a New York Times bestseller.
So this is intended to not feel like a stuffy event. I mean, they want you to come in and hear from Kevin, get to know him a little bit better, be eager to read his book, but relax and have a good time. So it's at the Whiskey Hall.
Yes.
You've even got a specialty drink you're serving, right?
Yes, it's just going to be great fun. We have music, we have a bluegrass trio, Walker Road, we have drinks and food and a silent auction. Our specialty drink is named after sort of the book, The Panic Button, with a little bit of apple moonshine and ginger ale and fun stuff. So it's not a stuffy lecture, it's really a conversation with Kevin and others about his new book.
So there is an art, I think, obviously in being an author. There's also an art in being able to explain a book to somebody that makes them want to go pick it up and read it. You've got that art, because you were telling me a little bit about the book. You just finished reading it.
Yeah.
But he is a professor at the University of the South.
Yes, it's just so great to have him in our backyard, and just great to have a chance to come and support him and his next New York Times bestseller, I think.
I would be interested to know if he is an adopted Southerner or a born Southerner, but he does set his books largely in the South. This one is set in Tennessee. It's a coming-of-age story.
Yes, and set in a small town in Tennessee, and it's really about two teenagers that are sort of misfits and trying to find their way, and they get together and they want to create art that impacts people and says something about themselves. So they create this poster with a strange slogan and post it all over town anonymously, which creates a big stir, a lot of speculation among people who live there, and chaos just erupts, and it just explodes. And this is set in the 90s before social media, but it's really plausible to see how things go awry.
But you say it is, though it involves teenagers, it is not a young adult book.
Yeah, it's an adult. And in fact, this one has already been listed as a finalist for the Southern Book Prize. So that's very exciting.
Wow.
And for fiction.
I mean, I'm sure you get this question all the time, and I don't really know how you'd be able to answer it, because part of the beauty of literature is that it's completely subjective. What one person enjoys, somebody else might not, or interprets differently. There does seem to be a real draw and power to Southern literature.
Yes, and I think Kevin is a good example. His characters are so well thought out, and his writing just really takes you to another place. He's sort of an out-of-the-box idea and has a lot of surprises, but really the books always come down to the relationships of the characters and the fullness of how he writes.
And it does seem like, particularly in Southern literature, the characters are flawed, but you love them.
Yes.
You're always rooting for them.
This is exactly the way it is with these two poor teenagers that just don't know what they're getting themselves into.
Well, and there's a big thing in Chattanooga right now about really advancing and celebrating music here in Chattanooga. And we have so much visual art here in Chattanooga. Writers and authors can be overlooked, but they would be so missed. We've got to foster their craft and support it, and that's what you do.
Yes, and in fact at this event we will be giving out the Local Distinguished Author Award for 2022 to a local author, and we're not saying who that is until the event, but it's a great way to come and see who really has done amazing work that you might not even know about.
So the time with Kevin Wilson will feel like an interview. He'll be up on the stage, you know, kind of people, everybody can hear from him and hear his story. Then you'll have the panic button drink, the music, some hors d'oeuvres and food for people to enjoy, and just a great time.
Yeah.
They get their tickets at the website?
Yes, So Lit Chat with two T's, .org.
And is there a limit on how many you can sell?
We have about 100 tickets left.
Okay.
And so, yeah, they want to get them quick.
That's not as many as you would think, so yeah, don't waste around. So it is November 17th at 6 o'clock. The place to be is the Chattanooga Whiskey Hall. The website to go ahead and get your ticket right now is solitchat.org. Kevin Wilson will be the one featured. His book, again, is called, this one anyway, is called Now Is Not the Time to Panic. Set to be another bestseller, I'm sure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Call Metro and get your drains